Hi guys, welcome again to one more episode of the Amiga Raytracing webcast. Tonight is episode 44, and we are going to be talking about how to export our animations to the internet. Before we go there, let us recap from last episode where we talked about syncing audio to our animations. What I was trying to do, and I mean, the failure that of my efforts were not due to hardware, uh, hardware limitations or the emulation or anything, but it was the mod itself, as it wasn't following any let me show you here. It's not following a normal tempo. So, and I'll show you how I finally managed to make it work. Okay, so if we load the sample of the mod again, anyway, so I have it sound mods general, and I'm loading the IFF of it. Pastel pop, pastel pop. I don't know. Okay, so we know how to play and pause. In this program, it's space and shift space. Okay, you can of course use say Audacity if you're outside, or if you want to say you have a favorite MP3 and you want it to sync with your animations. By the way, welcome Volcaro. Good evening. So let me show you how I managed to do it. So everything was done quite in a manual in a manual manner. Not, I in the beginning I was trying to discover the tempo of the song, but it was not what I expected to be. So what I did first, what I did in the end was like recording every event that I wanted the transition to happen. So for example, so stopping it there. By the way, let me change to units SMPT. So then I have 25 frames per second, and now I get this number. So now I have to translate this number into frames. So let's say 25 frames per second, then I have 75 plus 3, 78. Okay, this is the first event. Continuing. Oops, sorry. Now I have 413, which is 113 frames, and so on. I started making a list of frames that showed me where I should put my transitions. Okay, so if you don't, if you see that your mod, if you have a music, going on, and you want to find the tempo, if you don't know the tempo, this is the safest way to achieve this. Or if you have, say, you have speech, so the only way to do that is manually following the events and recording what frames every event is happening, so that you will start making your character speak and being in sync with the audio. Or any other event, say a car revving up, or running, or tires screeching on the asphalt, and so on. So that was about it, and you saw the result. Let me play it back once more for you. Where I have no, not on Lightwave. and I have it in Scala and script, and it was Amigarium fields. So this is my animation. It's in 25 frames per second. Okay, and I've here on in Scala you can just click here and add the mod you want it to play back together with your animation or image or whatever. Okay, and then you just play. And so on. So that was it. You just patiently go for the the time in your sound that you wanted to have an event in your animation, and then you just you just take the you just take the say frame count, the frame numbers, and you just translate them into an envelope inside Lightwave. So what I did next after I had these numbers was going to my scene and having all these these objects. Okay, there. So starting with that, I just went in the object dissolve envelope and I told it, okay, I want you to stay visible until frame 77. Frame 78, I want you to be invisible. So I did that. Okay, and then 77, 78, then I kept that number couple for the next object to be dissolved. So 77, 78. So here we see that this is invisible up to 77, and then on 78 it becomes visible until 151, where it's the last frame for it, and then 152 it disappears. Okay, so that was about this syncing sound. Okay, in short or long films there are groups of people doing just that. There are musicians that they don't play any musical instrument, but they just try to sync everything to a frame so that the animators will later have numbers to sync the lips, the animation of the characters, any action they are doing. So it's quite quite interesting how all of these things are done. So now that we're done with that, let's go on with the subject of our today's episode, which is how to export our animations to the internet. What are the correct, say, options, correct parameters to give to our animations in order for them to appear correctly on the net? Okay. I'm going to show you now the same animation that we did now and the result of it, how it looks. Let me see here how it looks as a MP4, say. Okay, so let me see there. Let me change some screens here, and now you see there. Now now you see correctly, I think. Yeah, exactly. So we will be using that later, the YouTube recommended settings, and let's see what's going on here. Okay, so that was about that was what we're trying to achieve before we upload it to the internet. So by the way, this was 720p. The resolution for that is 1280 by 720. So we start from there first. Okay, let us go first in the recommended upload encoding settings for YouTube, which can work for Vimeo. They can work for many other video viewing platforms on the net. So it's if you hold on a minute, let me see what is. Can you see me? No, you can't see me. Here you can see me, I think. Yes. No, here you can not. Nah. Yeah, I think now I am visible, so yeah. Anyway, so first of all, it says that the container is MP4. Okay, then the audio codec should be AAC LC. Okay, so you can see here some other sub options here. So 48 kilohertz is what we're out after. So yeah, the video codec should be H264. Okay. It has some other some other things that we will be incorporating in our output. Then the frame rate can be whatever we want. So since we have 25, or we can have 30, whatever, you know, it's up to you. Only remember to if you are out after your animations, you know, syncing into sound, remember that you have the scene that you will be creating will have the same FPS as the one you will be encoding, which we will go into a bit later. Okay, then you have the bitrate, which is quite say, I think for the HDR resolutions or SDR, standard frame rate, or whatever, yeah, yeah, you have 5 megabps, which, yeah, it's quite, it's a bit overkill for us, but yeah, it might be the case that it's needed. Anyway, then we go into the resolutions. Here, yeah, the color space is okay. It is being defined upwards, but anyway, we'll go through it. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Now, going into the video resolution and aspect ratios. These are the resolutions. Let me show you here what is going on here. Here we have the resolutions for a video to have the defined P progressive resolution ratio. Okay. So the Amiga outputs say either 320 by 256, or, you know, which is a PAL resolution 4:3 ratio. The recommended resolution aspect ratio here, it says for the default 16:9 aspect ratio encoded at these resolutions. You can override that export at Amiga resolutions, but you will be having on the left and the right, you will be having black stripes. So your video will play back correctly, but you won't be taking advantage of the extra space. But if it suits you, so it's nothing wrong. Now, but we have the opportunity with Lightwave to re-render our animations into internet-friendly 16:9 resolutions. Okay, how do we go about doing that is the question, and the answer is quite simple. We go back to Lightwave. Okay, so I'll just go here. Now let me there, and say go to Lightwave. Let's load the scene I had for you today. So scenes, Amigarium, which is Amiga Aquarium. It looked like an aquarium there. So that was the this is the Amiga optimized version of it. Okay, so this is a 700 animation. Yeah, 25 frames per second scene. Okay, and I want to first of all we'll go through the Amiga settings, because that is also interesting. This is the medium resolution renders at 640 by 480. This is an interlaced resolution for the Amiga. An interlaced resolution means that this is a hack that allows the Amiga to show at a double resolution than the normal ones, at the cost of rendering only half the lines. So you might have seen this, trembling of the image when you see, high resolution images. In order for an animation to play back correctly, I mean, not having, not being strained to the eye in these resolutions, you have to activate the field rendering here. Okay, what this does, it renders, it does Lightwave to render in a field, say it tells it to render each frame in a line manner, so that it will show correctly when you animate it. So let me show you an example how it looks. There. So this is how a frame rendered in a field arrangement. Okay, you can see the lines, okay, as opposed to another let me see if I can show you. No, it's not here, it's on the render farm. So webcast, no, is it here? Maybe on the YouTube, on the perhaps. Anyway, it's cleaner if you don't have rendered in fields, okay? But this is not Amiga, say Amiga optimized when it comes to interlace animations, when it comes to high resolutions, okay? So I'll show you It takes a while to index the directory. Boing, 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 boing. Yes, here it is. Oh, great! It's in TIFF, so fast view cannot show it. But anyway, yeah, you can actually see the difference if you let's say you do a field render of, yeah. So yeah, this is clean. It doesn't have any lines. So yeah, that was faster. Okay. If you turn on the field rendering, it perhaps won't do that because it's frame 0, so there's no motion. So there's no need to have to do field rendering. But here, yes, you can see the difference. Okay. So this is the difference, and it works great in when you field render interlaced resolutions, when you have animations at interlace. If you had, for example, let's say low resolution 320 by 240, the Amiga can easily output that in, it can play it back in even 50 FPS. So you don't really have to do that because it doesn't, you don't gain anything for that, unless you want to express a certain feeling, doing some stuff, artistically. But this is more optimized for when you show something on the Amiga, or you output from the Amiga to something live. Another use for that is when you output via PAR, I think, to analog videos. Okay, but I've never used that. There was a studio I was in back in the early 2000s, but yeah, I haven't been personally involved in that. So this is how you output an interlaced animation frame by frame for Amiga viewing. Okay, now for internet viewing, these things are a bit easier. So you turn off this. Okay, everything else is the same. The only thing you change is the custom size, and then you go back to, let's say, the encoding resolutions. Okay, and say, okay, I would like to say 1280 by 720. So you just input that in the custom size. Okay, so you go here and you tell it, okay, 1280 by 720. Okay, when you activate this option here, this does not play any significant role. Okay, so you can have it wherever you have, and this will not affect the information. It won't change anything. So from super low res up to print resolution, the segments are the same, the full resolution is the same, and so on. Okay. So after having done that, you just record in a PC-friendly format that Lightwave has here. Okay, so I personally choose either TIFF or Targa to render on. You might want to test a frame, okay, before you start rendering, 700 frames in a format that might not work in in your PC. Okay, because that's where we will be exporting the frames for binding them into a PC-friendly animation. Okay, so let us make a list about all that. Okay, first of all, I'll just use Brilliance once more there, and I'll say action a web, perhaps this there. Okay, so first decide resolution. Okay, and say 480p, 720p, etc. So this is number one there. Okay, and that we have decided, we know how to do that and so on. Number two, let us write here and say find the if you have audio and you want to sync it, you say you can just find time frames, time equals frames. Yeah, exactly. For events, transitions, character animation, and so on. Okay. For event, how to say that? Find for the event triggering. Okay, transitions, etc. Okay, using that, I hope this, no, it doesn't for event triggering. There. Okay. Then number three, or perhaps, yeah, once we have built our scene, we now decide on the output. So number three, output to a PC friendly format. It can be, say, TIFF, TGA, JPEG, although JPEG is lossy. I don't recommend that, but let me put an asterisk there, etc. So TIFF and TGA, they are lossless for formats, and you can rely on that there, so on. Okay. So this is a number three, output to a PC-friendly format. Okay, and then you start rendering, you know. After the rendering is done, you will be needing some things now. Okay, first of all, you will be, say, let us assume you have a mod and you have your scene synced to that mod. Okay, but you want to export your scene together with the mod, the module to YouTube, to the internet, just as I did with the MP4, okay, which was bind great. Happily syncing with the animation. You are going to be needing some tools to do that. So let me. So number four, export mod or IFF to wave format. Okay. For that you will be needing, if you going from the Amiga to the PC, you will be needing the mod to WAV program. You can find that on the Aminet, as we said in the previous episode. Mod for WAV, let me just, yeah, there. Okay. Export mode RFF to WAV format. After we've done that, we will be needing, let me see what I have here. You will be needing 2 more tools on the PC side now. On the PC side now. Let's say download FFMPEG. FFMPEG is a very powerful command line tool for binding audio, video from images into videos, from video to images. You can make still videos with one image playing back in a music in the background, whatever. I mean, it is very powerful tool. You shouldn't be afraid just due to the fact because it is a command line. It's very, very powerful. Okay. So number 5, download FFmpeg. There. And as an extra, no, actually it is required. You can download Audacity. Okay. Sorry, this is number 6. Download Audacity. Okay. Audacity is very powerful and free sampling and sample editing program. Okay, very, very useful. It can do lots of stuff, filters. It can, slow down. You can create whatever you wish for that with that. I mean, in your audio. And that is the tools you will be needing. Okay, so when you gather all these things, you have to gather all your assets, and I'll just write it: gather frames. Just for convenience, gather frames and sound files in a folder. There, in a folder. Since we were doing command line stuff, we want to minimize the amount of paths that we will be writing. Just in case we got mixed, we mix everything, and mess it up. So in order for us to minimize that, we gather everything in a folder. And then I'll just let me save that. Actually, save that. Yeah, episode 44 images. So we will be doing the YouTube output list or something. Yeah. Okay. So we're done with that. Let's say now that I've rendered my scene, I have the frames sitting on a directory, and I can happily turn off the Amiga. No, by the way, I also have the yeah. Let me see if I have my audio here as well. So I'm going to my webcast, and no, wait, I have my sound here, and I have my mods general. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so using mod to WAV, I have exported the mod to a 16-bit wave that I will be able to use. Okay, there you go. Getting out. Oh wait, now we will be quitting the Amiga. Okay, so in our PC now, we will be going into that folder. So my folder is Lightwave content 3D webcast and 44. Okay, so inside here, output YT, output YouTube, I have all 700 frames. Okay, plus the pastel pop.wav. Okay. Okay, so now we are starting to edit our audio. I mean, we have 700 frames. This amounts to a specific time that we want our audio to be in. Okay, so if I load my wave with Audacity, there. Okay, I don't want that. Okay, so this is the sound file. So if I just play back. Okay, so this is my sample. Okay, my mod that was turned into a wave sample. Okay, so now we have 700 frames of animation to paste on the on our together with our sample. Okay. I'm going down here, if you can see, and the audio position is it says frames. That is because I've chosen the PAL frames, 25 FPS. That is why 25 FPS is a nice number to have your animations in. Okay. So selecting that, you get this requester here. So if I go to 700, no, did it go? No, wait. Nope. No. Why didn't it go? But anyway, we'll see. Aha. Yeah, it's just in the position. I just have to input it here. So 7, 7. So there it is. 700 is here. Okay. So if I go here, 700. No? Yeah, it is. Yeah, 700. So just find the there. Okay. So I don't need anything. I need all these samples. You know, this part of the sample is not needed. So I will just go here, select how much I want, and edit here to 700. So, okay, now just press delete. No, sorry. Delete. There. Okay. So I've deleted the part that I do not need. And now let's say if I select everything with Control A, of course, I have start 0 frames, the end 700 frames. So this is the sample that will be pasted on my animation. Okay, let's say, yeah, let's go with that, and we just save, export as wave, and let's export it as pastel pop 700. Okay, and it's done. We'll just minimize that. We don't need that anymore. Okay, I'm using Linux, but you can do all these things to Windows or Mac OS, of course. Okay. Now comes the interesting part. Let me see here. Okay, so I'll just have to open a command line there and go to my, or okay, in Linux you can, I mean, I have your Ubuntu, and if you press right click and then open in terminal, you can go directly to the directory you had your mouse pointer on and clicked right click. I think I suspect you can do something similar to Windows as well. Okay. So now starts the part where the FFmpeg comes into play, and let me find where I have that. I think it was in my webcast 44, no 43, not 43, 44, there. Yep, converting anim to YouTube MP4, and we have a very nice long and quite useful there, quite useful command line for us to play with. Okay, I'll just break it down for you first. Okay, so let us go through it bit by bit. But first, let me paste it on the command line so that you will be able to see. Okay, so this is the command line. Let me. How do you? No. Yeah, here. Yes, here. Here we go. Let us begin with that. First is the command, of course. Okay, FFmpeg. Then you have -R25. This is the frame rate, which is 25 frames per second. Okay. -F image2 tells FFmpeg that a sequence is, I think this is a sequence to be concatenated to a animation. -S is the resolution, which is 1280 by 720, as is the frames of our scene, you know, as is our scene. Thread queue size 256. I don't remember what it is. Perhaps it's not needed, but no, we won't risk that. But anyway, it's good to put it. And then -I is our first input input file, or in this case input files. So if you see here, I have named my frames in this manner. So this is output YT. So this is my yeah. So Amigarium 720p dash. No, is it dash? Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, but anyway. And then you have 4 decimals, and then .tif as a suffix. Okay, so what we see here is Amigarium 720p dash, and here this thing tells FFmpeg that there is a 4 decimal incremental file sequence coming up. Okay, so this is percent symbol 04D. I think it's 4 decimals. So because if you put 03D, it will look for 3 decimals. Okay, and .tif, the suffix of the file. Then we go on into thread queue size 256. I found that this is useful for the audio also, because the next option is -I, and this is an input. This is another input file, so it comes here to pastel pop short, which I think what we did now is paste pastel pop 700. So I'll just change that into pastel pop 700. There. Great. Wave. Okay, this is one file. Then we go on defining our audio codec, which YouTube wants it to be AAC. The next two options are also about the codec. Okay, dash strict dash 2. Okay, then there is also the bitrate. This is the bitrate -B, semicolon, full colon, audio 384 kilo bps, I think. Anyway, this is the bit. I think, is it the bitrate? Anyway, but this is the frequency. Yeah, -R colon A 48,000 is the 48K resolution. So it is important, if you go back to Audacity here, that over here you will see the 48,000 hertz over here. Okay, so it has to be the same frequency. Otherwise, you might hear it upon playback to be slower or faster, as if the Smurfs were were singing or something. Okay. And now we continue. V codec H264. If you remember, we saw that. Wait a minute. We saw that here in the codec. So here you have what we are selecting. What we are typing actually is the translation of these is here. So yeah. So video codec H264. So FFmpeg wants it like that, H264. Okay. Then you have two flags, two more flags, that MOV flags, fast start, which is what is needed. And then you have -CRF. This is a quality constant. I think a constant quality factor, if I remember correctly. And in the end, you have the pixel format, which is the YUV 420p. Okay, I tried some other formats, but they didn't. I think this is the color code or something, you know. I think that all other formats I tried, they don't work. But anyway. And then in the end, you define the output file. The important thing is here is the suffix. Okay, .mp4, for example, or .mov or whatever. Okay, YouTube wants it on MP4, but it won't complain either if you have it on MOV, as long as all these encoding options are what it's waiting for, you know. Okay, so now we will compile all this. Let me see, everything is correct. Yes, we're on the correct I'll just rename that. Let's say Amigarium 2 and see how it fares. So yeah, start compiling. now I'm seeing the chat. Yeah, Smurf singing. Yeah, sometimes I'm going to la 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 la. Peppa Smurf. And it's done. Let's see what we've accomplished up to now. So yeah, here is. Let me see. The chat is here. So now I have Amigarium 2. So let me put stop. Let me stop it first. And how do you do the full screen? But anyway. And as I see here, there's a bit of constant delay by the by my text. The animation is lagging after the sound. So how can we trim that? I mean, that will be needed only once. I mean, you can do that. So here it's a bit sluggish. Yeah, but it's constant. So it's just in the beginning of my sample. So what I will be doing, I will go back to Audacity, and in the beginning of my there. So now I am at start and end of the beginning, 0 and 0. Okay, so I have the cursor in the beginning of my sample. Okay, and I'll go to generate here and silence. Okay, and now I have the duration here. So let's put 2 frames of silence in the beginning of our sample. So the sample will be pushed forward by the silence. So first I have to select the, let's say, PAL frames. Yeah. So now I have this. Yeah. Duration 2 frames. Okay. Oops. Sorry. What's going on there? No, I don't want that. I want that 0 and that 0 here. And generate silence. Generate PAL frames again. Okay. There. If you zoom in now, you will see this is a 2 frame to Amiga frame, let's say 25 FPS, 2 frame silence. Okay. Let me see, what is that here? Yeah. Anyway, let's see how that plays back. No, that's not what I wanted. But anyway, let me see. There's a gap here. What is this gap? Let me bridge the gap, but by pressing no. No. Let me see what's going on here. Undo. Let me undo that and go on once more. Closer to the, yeah, maybe that's the thing, but let me see. So 0, 0, add silence, generate silence. 2 frames. And see. There, yeah. Now it was, I think it's. So now I have 2 frames generated as a silence. Okay. It might not seem to us, but yeah, it will be. You know, it will play a significant role when we're syncing. So exporting that as wave 700. Let's see version 2. Saving that. No, actually, let's save that as 700. We don't need any. We don't need the old one anyway. Okay, now that it's saved, let's go back to our command line and redo the same thing. So I don't care in keeping the old one, and let's say no other change. Yep. And now it's asking me, okay, already exists override? Of course, yes. Some elevator music. Na 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 na. Da, 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 da. Oh, and it's done. Great. So now I have this one. Closer, yeah. It needs 2 frames, 2 more frames, and we are spot on. Okay, so we'll just head over here. There in the beginning, 0, 0, 0. Let me see, I just want to see something. Yeah, exactly. 0, 0, and generate, silence, 2 more frames. PAL frames, 2 more frames. Amazing. Great. Okay, so now we will that's why it wasn't playing it back there. So now we have 4 frames, 4 silent frames, and then going up. So it's trimming, you know. If you had a non-linear editor, you would be doing that in no time. But anyway, yeah. Exporting as wave, pastel pop, save, bye bye, and welcome command line once more. Yes. Agony. Anxious. Let's see. Okay, and if I am, you know, if I'm feeling artistic, I may do a fade out in the end. Say, you know, okay, here I want to be fading this out there, and effect, fade out, and export as wave 700. Save, yes, okay. And redoing it once more. So you know you're perfecting with each step your video. Okay, so once more. Exist, yeah, of course. I want it overwritten. So that's about that. Okay, so we had it was a softer ending, you know, with the fading out. Yeah. Okay, now let's see. Walker, yes, of course. You can do with sound effects on the Amiga and then export it. Can you export it on can you export Wave with sound effects? Let's get back to our yes here. You can do lots of stuff, but when you, let's say you're exporting, yeah, exactly, because you the mod was exported. This command line tool was, as it says here, so it says mod to wave. If you press just the name of it, and you will see that that would as it was stating that on the on its description, it will generate a 16-bit stereo riff wave only by, you know, the 8-bit mod. This is it's a very powerful tool, this one. Okay, so you have to put it into a 16-bit wave just like that. The same can be done, for example, if you want, yeah, from IFF to Wave. I think, no, I'm pretty sure Audacity does that. So you can load IFF samples and save them in Audacity in other formats, you know. Also, I found in the I also found in the FFmpeg documentation about 8SVX, which is the IFF format in the Amiga. So here you can see here, no wait, it supports 8SVX as well. So you can have it, yeah, you can do all the work in the Amiga and then export the 8-bit sample into the AAC requirement that the YouTube wants. Okay, so you can do lots of stuff with FFmpeg. This is a very nice tool, very powerful tool. It's free, and it has lots of applications. One last thing I wanted to add as well. Oh yeah. By the way, now this file here, it's an MPEG-4 video, and it's ready for uploading it to YouTube. Okay, so we're quite done with that. I think I covered everything I want to talk about today. Do you have any questions? Hey, Tom Paul, another TV viewer. Walkero. Hi guys, how are you? Great, okay. Yeah, regarding the regarding the scene I was showing, it's a nice thing also to look into. You see this let me show you Amigarium. So this is the scene where you have the boing ball. In reality, the ball itself is only moving around itself. So then you have a parent object, and you can go through how I made that so smooth. Because you have the boing ball, wait a minute. You have the boing ball, okay? Then you have a parent, the boinging null. That's doing the boing, 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 only on the y-axis, okay? This is the, it's going only on the y-axis. And then you have a parent outside of it that's doing the x-axis movement. So you can go through that and see how I did that, thinking like, out of the box, but using the tools that you have by with parenting, and so that you use an object for each dimension, so that you keep everything clean. And you can also edit one let's say one component of the motion without affecting the other components, say X, Y, and time and rotation and whatever. Okay, so that's for you guys to work to look at and examine. And last but not least, shout out to the patrons and supporters. Thank you very much, guys. George Chokinos Volcaro, and that was also your you wanted me to show how to export animations to YouTube, so I hope you are covered with that. That was your request. If you have any questions, just mail me or whatever. Thank you. You're very welcome. So George Agnos Volcaro, thank you very much. Midone, Jarla, GS, and Anthony Jarvis. Thank you very much, all guys. Thank you, all of you that were tonight here with me, and see you next week. Okay, so let me just fire up my outro there. Amazing, it works. Anyway, bye bye. Thank you, guys. Cheers. No, it doesn't work. Let me see now. Let me see.